Hello everyone, my name is Count and in this series we will be looking at the lore of Dark Souls comic books. Not everyone knows about them and that may be because they are not officially canon, but for the sake of this video I will talk about them as if they were canon, just for fun and to create a more interesting narrative. I would like to begin this series with a comic book titled The Age of Fire, which is probably the best of them and also the most interesting one, as it covers a lot of important events from Dark Souls lore. Later on in the series we will get to the worse but possibly more fun ones. So the first page of this comic book promises big things already. We are introduced to Gwyn, who is in the process of killing a dragon in the unformed world. Pretty cool. Another thing that we can already notice is that the language they use in this comic book is supposed to be this broken old English language like in the games, and since seeing that meme I cannot treat it seriously anymore. I mean, oh surely thou already knowest this story of yore. Sorry, this just sounds funny to me. But anyway, after that we are introduced to Archon, the main character of the story, who is a Silver Knight, and as we can learn from this little piece of information, he is a noble like all Silver Knights. So, Silver Knights are ex-nobles, this is certainly new and hasn't been mentioned in the games. Anyway, as the story goes, Archon is attacked by a dragon, he is saved by Artorias, and Gwyn T-poses at Archon from the skies, tells him that he did a good job, thinking that Archon killed the dragon. So Archon is titled the Dragon Slayer. Then centuries pass and we get another valuable piece of info. Archon is still alive after centuries. So now we know that Silver Knights are not 100% human and they can live for multiple centuries. So when all of that time passes, we are introduced to another important character called Channeler Lister, who is the leader of Sif's channelers, who get into a pretty brutal argument with the Silver Knights over the kidnappings of Guinevere's handmaidens, possibly the ones that we later see in Duke's archives turned into Pisakas. This Lista guy is a powerful character. Silver Knights won't touch him even though they caught him red-handed with a human slave. This scene shows how powerful Sif has become in that time, even that Gwyn's knights could not stop him from committing all the vile acts. After that we are introduced to more important characters, Dragon Knight Gravis and Executioner Woodrow. And only the existence of these two characters gives some more new lore. We know of the Silver Knights and the Four Knights who helped Gwyn with war on the dragons, but we never knew about Dragon Knight, who supposedly also helped. And from the character of Woodrow we can learn that Smoke wasn't the only executioner and he had his pupils. After that not much happens in the first issue. A bar fight almost breaks out, Archon is asked to return to Anor Londo, where we learn that Izalith has fallen to the dark magic and Archon has to take half of the Silver Knights and travel there to see what is up and kill some demons probably. First issue ends here, and then we get to the second one, we look at the first panel and bam, Garl Vinland, straight from Demon Souls. If you don't remember, he is the guy that protected Lady Astrea. So they kill a bunch of demons in Izalith, and then we get a cut to New Londo and we see that the curse of the undead has begun, as the first hollows start to appear there. Then we get a quick conversation of Sif and Lista, nothing really comes of it, we only learn that Sif had nothing to do with demons or the abyss, he only cares about his own experiments. After that we get a cut to Izalith again, when one of the demons transports Garl and Archon to different times, or he only creates an illusion. We don't know what happens to Garl, but Archon is transported to a battlefield during the Age of Ancients, where he is attacked by a dragon with a cut-off head. When he awakens, he is back in Lost Izalith, his armor is charred black, and a demon tells him that all of his comrades are long gone. And this line is pretty significant, I think. They've long since left this realm, marching past thy slumbering form. I think that what the demon means is that they left the realm of the living, not the realm of Izalith. I think that they died and we can see their ghost when we get to the kiln of the first flame, especially that Archon has a moment with them later on. Anyway, Archon gets really mad, kills the demon and leaves Izalith to get revenge. Third issue starts with Archon in Ulasil, where he meets Artorias, who thinks that Archon is a Rife, and they get into a fight, so presumably a lot of time has passed since the events of Izalith and Artorias could not recognize the Silver Knight turned black. This fight is a bit of a stretch in the plot. I think it was created just to show us how powerful Artorias really was back then, as he easily cuts through Archon's shield. As Artorias is about to deal the final blow, he recognizes Archon, and they have a conversation. Artorias tells him that a great darkness has fallen upon Lord Ran, and they are unable to stop it. After that, they split ways and Artorias walks deeper into Ulasil. probably for the last time to meet with the Abyss. Back in London, we see curse is starting to be a huge problem. The sick people are being chained and sent into asylums. Some say that there may be cure, some say that the sick people should be just executed instead. Another important moment that we can see a few pages later is Lord Gwyn taking his knight to the first flame. After that, we learn that the curse has spread among New Londo, Izalith and Ulasil, while Lower Ward, which later becomes the Undead Burg, still stands. Also, I am pretty sure that this line is a reference to Revenge of the Sith. Moving on, some people think that Seth may be responsible for the undead curse. Anyway, Archon travels to the kiln of the First Flame to meet with Gwyn, but it looks like it's too late and Gwyn is turned into ash. With that we get to the final issue. Archon goes to the Lower Ward where he gets into an argument with the chief of the Silver Knights. He accuses them of betrayal and cowardice while they try to explain to him that Gwyn had to sacrifice himself so that the fire can be prolonged. They almost get into a fight, but are interrupted by General Lister, turned into monster by Sif. From the conversation that Archon has with Gravis, we learn that he no longer cares about anything, now he only fights to survive. Possibly he is broken after learning about Gwyn's death and he himself is starting to turn hollow. The monster is quickly defeated and then we get a cut to the final scene. Archon is in the undead asylum and he is unlucky enough to stumble upon the chosen undead, who parries him with a torch and kills him. The end. Okay, that comic book was pretty crazy, and if you haven't yet, I still recommend you to read it, as I intentionally skipped the panels that would spoil what happens to Gravis and Woodrow, as that story is great, but it has a little to none lore significance. So in summary, what did we learn from the story? Silver Knights are nobles or ex-nobles, they aren't regular humans and they can live for centuries. There was an order of Dragon Knights and they were servants of Gwyn, who specialized in killing dragons. Sif's channelers were led by a guy named Lister, who was powerful enough that he could commit crimes like abducting important figures in broad daylight and suffer no consequences. Smoke had at least one apprentice. Garl Vinland lived in Lordran at one point and he was a knight of Lord Gwyn. Sif was accused of starting the undead curse. Some demons have the ability to transport people in time or at least create an illusion of it. Black Knights were created during the fight with demons in Izalith. The knights that didn't survive are now ghosts, wandering around the kiln of the First Flame. The curse first spread in New Londo ruins, later in Ulasil and Izalith, and finally in Lower Ward, and after that presumably in Anor Londo. The Black Knight that we can fight in the asylum in the game is probably Archon. And that is it for this video, I hope you enjoyed it. Now go read the comic book, it's really great. You can really get the Dark Souls vibe from it. Everything is so grim, the ending is unexpected, there are some cool characters, and I have nothing more to say. Thank you for watching.